The number one Claude AI side hustle for people over 50 is not what anybody on this platform is telling you it is. And by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly what it is and exactly why it only works this well if you're on the older side. Because 99% of the side hustles that people share on YouTube put you at a disadvantage if you're over 50 years old. But the side hustle I'm gonna talk about is actually better if you're on the older side. And I'm also gonna show you the 15-minute Claude workflow that my brother, Zach, used in his 50s with zero tech skills to make over $18,000 last month. And like I said, almost every side hustle video in your feed is recycled made by 24-year-olds for 24-year-olds pushing hustles where being over 50 puts you at a massive disadvantage. And that's a shame because the numbers say that you're actually holding the best cards at the table. See, Americans over 50 are sitting on roughly 70 to 80% of all the wealth in the United States. And people 50 and up generate $12.5 trillion of economic activity a year, which is bigger than every economy on earth except the United States and China. $12.5 trillion, 43% of US GDP comes from the 50 and above age bracket. So today I'm gonna be giving you the one side hustle where every single one of those cards pays you. And I'll show you real people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and even in their 90s doing it right now with receipts on the screen. And I'll show you how Claude removes the exact barriers that used to keep people your age out of this game. So if you appreciate me making this type of content and you wanna see me make more of it in the future, then let me know by gently cheersing that like button. And let's go ahead and jump into it right now. So let's not waste your time with a 10-minute windup. I'm gonna tell you what it is right now. The number one Claude AI side hustle for people over 50 is starting a personal brand on YouTube built on the one asset that you have more of than anyone else on the internet, and that is your wisdom. Now hold on, I know exactly what just happened in your head. You probably thought, YouTube, I'm not an influencer, I'm not dancing on camera, I'm out. Well, stay with me because that exact reaction is why this opportunity is still wide open. And here's the catch that nobody tells you. YouTube is a terrible idea at the age of 55. Chasing trends, jump cuts, gaming clips, etc. That is a 22-year-old's game. And if you try to play that game, you're gonna have a very hard time succeeding. But there is a particular way to do this where every year on your odometer makes you harder to compete with. You build what I call a wisdom channel, a channel in a niche where your decades of experience are the product. And I'll tell you right now, picking that niche correctly is the whole game. Get it right, and your age is the advantage. Get it wrong, and you're gonna be invisible. So stick around because I'm handing you help with that today. And when you do it that way, a stack of unfair advantages kicks in that no young creator can touch. So here's the plan for the next few minutes. I'm gonna walk you through those advantages one by one, show you the proof that it's working right now for regular people over 50, and then show you the Claude workflow that turns this from a 20-hour-a-week tech project into about 15 minutes of talking. And if you think I'm exaggerating on that last part, my brother's first video came from a single 15-minute conversation that he had with Claude. In fact, it was less than 15 minutes and it pulled over 800,000 views. And this is coming from a guy who has to call me to fix his email or fix, a problem with the website. So he's not exactly tech savvy. And so no, you don't need tech skills. You just need exactly what you already have, which is wisdom. And more on that here in a moment. Now, before the advantages, one rule, and it applies to every opportunity anyone will ever pitch you. A side hustle is only a good side hustle for you if being your age gives you an edge in it. Not just a side hustle that you can technically do at your age, but one where the age is an actual advantage for you. Because if being older works against you in something, then by definition, it's a bad opportunity for you. And someone younger with more free time will always outgrind you at it. Now, run most of the popular side hustles that you hear on YouTube through that filter and watch pretty much all of them fail. Food delivery, your knees are subsidizing an app's algorithm. Drop shipping, faceless AI content farms, and day trading are age neutral at best. Your 30 years of experience counts for exactly nothing here. So you're racing on flat ground against people with fewer responsibilities, and it's usually not gonna turn out well for you. And that's why those videos always left you cold, because they were never built for you. The wisdom channel is the one play where the filter flips and the gray hair literally becomes the moat. And if you don't believe me, look at all of the YouTube channels that have been popping off lately that are coming from older people, and it's usually extremely simple content, right? Channel after channel after channel from older people that are popping off. And like I said, in most of the cases, it's very simple content. It's just them talking to a camera. It's not fancy at all. Usually it's their phone, like their phone camera or their webcam, and it's not even edited in most cases. Or if it is edited, it's very simple editing, and they're absolutely crushing it, getting millions of views. And you can do this too if you know the secret. So let's talk about the first advantage. So the first advantage is that wisdom is the one thing left that a search bar can't hand out. General information is free now. Any 19-year-old can pull any fact out of Claude or ChatGPT or Google in 2 seconds, which means facts alone pay nothing anymore. But there's a famous story about what still gets paid. Henry Ford had a massive generator go down at one of his plants, and his own engineers couldn't fix it. So he called in Charles Steinmetz, a hunchbacked old wizard of an electrical engineer, and Steinmetz listened to that machine for 2 days, climbed up, drew a single chalk mark on the side, and said, replace the plate behind this mark. They did, and it worked perfectly. Then Steinmetz sent Ford a bill for $10,000. That's roughly $180,000 in today's money, and Ford asked him to itemize it. And the itemized invoice read, making chalk mark on generator $1, knowing where to make the mark $9,999. And Ford paid it. Right? So that invoice is your entire career. Everyone on earth can access the chalk now, but you know where the X goes. You know where to mark the chalk. So when a 24-year-old makes a video about small business or nursing or divorce or retirement, they're reading the label on the chalk, but when you talk about it, you're marking the X, the mistakes, the shortcuts, the things that nobody tells you until you've actually lived them. And viewers can smell the difference in about 10 seconds. General information no longer has any value because anyone can just look it up on ChatGPT. But Claude can write faster than any human alive, but it can't spend 30 years inside of your industry, which means the only ingredient that the AI era is missing is the exact thing that you have a surplus of. So the source of the information comes from you, but Claude can expand on that information and help you make the scripts incredibly fast. All right, now let's talk about the next advantage, which is trust. And this one is absolutely brutal for young creators. Think about who you'd take retirement advice from. A 26-year-old in a rented Lamborghini, or someone with gray in their hair who has personally survived 3 recessions. Exactly, you're obviously going to take the retirement advice from the older person who's survived 3 recessions. Audiences know, like, and trust older faces faster because a 60-year-old on camera has visibly lived the advice that they're giving. And you can watch this play out in the numbers. There's a retirement channel called Azul. One guy, no studio, filming himself on his phone while he walks and travels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And he is making a massive amount of money from that channel. And then you've got RJ the Unretired. He started working with us, and one of his first videos that he posted blew up and got over 1.4 million views. So we went from 0 to making nearly $30,000 in a single month just a few months after getting started. And Azul is a much more mature channel. He's getting a lot more views, and I am confident that he is making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, because I've seen the back end of these channels. And my brother went from 0 to a full-time income in less than 1 month, and his very first video that he posted on YouTube blew up and his channel took off. And notice something, none of them are doing anything technically impressive. The trust is the content. The wisdom is the content. And here's the part that most people miss. Younger viewers watch them too. Half the comments on these channels are 20-somethings saying, I wish someone had told me this earlier. So the internet is starving for older people to make content. Both older people that are the same age as those people, because obviously like attracts like, birds of a feather flock together. So people that are 50 plus, generally speaking, want to watch content from other people that are 50 plus, but also younger people want to watch content from older people as well, because it's almost like having an internet dad or mom or grandpa or grandma. And there's simply a supply and demand imbalance because there's a lot of young people making content. So the supply of young people making content is high, but there's a lot of older people watching content, but there's not a lot of older people to make content for them, right? So there's a supply and demand imbalance. There's a lot of demand for older people to make content, but there's not a lot of older people making that content. Quick break. I'm going to be doing a live training this week on how to start YouTube step-by-step for beginners. This is going to be for people who want to start a channel, but they don't know what niche to pick, what videos to make, or how to actually get started the right way. And it's a completely free training, no strings attached. In fact, I'm giving away even more bonuses at this training. Just as an example, I'm going to be giving away my niche validator, which works for ChatGPT, as well as Claude Skills, which is a super valuable piece of software where you can finally figure out what the best niche for you is. So do not miss out on this training. Make sure you sign up for it down in the description and the pinned comment below, because you only get it if you join the training. So if you don't join now, you might miss out on it forever. But that being said, in the workshop, you'll get to meet me and you'll get to ask me questions directly. So I look forward to seeing you. So click the link in the description and the pinned comment below this week. Make sure you put it on your calendar. And if for whatever reason you missed out on it or you weren't able to attend, make sure you still click that link, because we might be having workshops in the future as well, and you'll be the first to know about it. So yeah, hope to see you there. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming. So now let's talk about the next advantage. You are the audience that every advertiser on this platform is desperate to reach. So here are the numbers they stare at all day. Americans over the age of 50 own approximately 70 to 80% of the wealth in the United States. And Americans over 60 hold approximately 63% of all the household wealth in this country. That's about 105 trillion out of 167 trillion. And your age group generates 43% of US GDP, which is about 12.5 trillion a year, which would make you the third largest economy on the planet all by yourself. So when advertisers buy YouTube ads, who do you think they pay a premium to reach? The 19-year-old who has $43 in his checking account, or you and your friends? And that's why channels watched by older audiences earn way more money per view than those channels that are watched by teenagers. So same effort and same videos, but more money for every 1,000 views. And here's where I might sound like a conspiracy theorist, so I'm just gonna put a little tin hat on my head. But if you follow the money, this is very likely true. Although I highly doubt that YouTube will actually admit this. And I admit that I could be wrong. It could just be simple supply and demand. But again, if you just ask yourself the age-old questions of who benefits and follow the money, you're probably gonna come to the same conclusion as me. YouTube makes money by making advertisers happy. Advertisers want wealthy older viewers on the platform, and older viewers watch creators who look like them. So, is it really a surprise that creators over 50 are blowing up left and right on the platform right now? So, whether YouTube is artificially pushing them on purpose or the market is just doing its thing, the result for you is identical. The wind is at your back, and this is actually an advantage for you. Now, the last advantage, and this is a simple one that I mentioned before, and that is simply supply and demand. There's tens of millions of over 50 viewers on YouTube right now. A lot of them are retired, and they have a lot of time to simply just watch YouTube videos. And there's almost nobody in their age group making content for them. Now, generally speaking, like attracts like, and older people, generally speaking, want to watch content from other older people. Birds of a feather flock together. Then there's millions of young creators that are fighting over young viewers, while a canyon of older viewers has barely anyone talking to them and making content for them. Plus, there's a lot of younger viewers who would probably like to watch content from older viewers as well, because again, it's almost like an uncle or an aunt or an internet mom or dad or an internet grandpa or grandma that they can get advice from. So when demand massively outweighs supply, price of simply showing up goes through the roof, and you can watch it happening in the numbers. So there's a channel called Simply Retired who posted a video called Why I Started YouTube at 73 and How Much They Paid Me, and it did over 400,000 views on a channel with just over 43,000 subscribers. That's 33 times what the channel normally does. And then a community member of mine, Craig, had been posting on YouTube for years, never had a single video blow up, had about 40,000 total views after posting for 4 years, and then one of his first videos that he posted with us got over 100,000 views. And Craig is actually a realtor and one of the biggest realtors in Montana. And then there's a channel called Rusty's Guitar, and they posted 45 years of guitar lessons in under 50 minutes, and it got over 140,000 views, which is 14 times that channel's normal view count. So are you seeing a pattern here? The age is not the thing these channels survive despite, the age is the hook. The number in the title, 73 years old, 45 years of lessons, etc., that is the packaging. So your age is the hook, and young creators would kill for a differentiator that powerful, but you wake up with it every single morning. But now let's talk about the marketing trap and why this beats every other side hustle. Now let me answer the question that the sharp people are already asking, right? Because you might be thinking, but why a YouTube channel instead of all the other side hustles for people over 50? Well, here's the honest answer almost nobody gives you. Most of those side hustles work. Consulting works, bookkeeping works, coaching works, freelancing works, selling a course works, but almost every single one of them hides the same full-time job inside of it, which is marketing, right? Nobody buys from a consultant that they've never heard of. So if you end up spending a small slice of your week doing the thing that you're great at and the rest of it hunting for the next customer, cold emails, cold DMs, chasing referrals, or just lighting money on fire with paid ads, that is not a side hustle. That's a full-time marketing and sales job that you just gave yourself. So it's kind of like standing on the side of the road with your thumb out, hoping that somebody stops. So a YouTube personal brand is the one version where the marketing does itself while you sleep. So you make a video once and it goes out and it shakes hands for you tonight, the next month, 3 years from now, even 5 or 6 years from now. We have literally had videos that we posted 6 years ago now that have just been chugging along, getting more views, and they've gotten 6-figure contracts. So a video 6 years old that landed a 6-figure contract. That's pretty wild. So every video is like a little salesman that never calls in sick. And YouTube is the only platform that works as a social network and a search engine at the same time. And this is why videos keep getting discovered even years after you post them. but only if you construct the videos in the right way, which is again, something I'll be going over in the live training that we're doing this week. Click that link in the description in the pinned comment below. Then once people know, like, and trust you, you can attach almost any income stream to it. And it's all built on what you already know. See, my brother Zach spent 30 years in the trades, and he was monetized in the first month after posting his very first video, which got over 800,000 views, and he hit $214 in a single day by day 29. And then last month, he had an over $18,000 month. And a community member of mine, RJ, runs a channel about the unretired life. He got to nearly $30,000 in a single month within just a few months of taking this seriously. Another community member, Nurse Jen, had never touched YouTube. She'd never even dipped her toe into it. And within a few months of posting on YouTube, she had 3 videos with over 600,000 views. She was able to make a full-time income, quit her job, and now she's traveling around the United States in a camper van, recording videos on her webcam on her laptop in the back of the camper van while literally living her dream life. And I just had a conversation with her last week, and she said that she's now making over $10,000 a month. And that's just from AdSense alone. Now, some of my community members sell their own service, and some just do affiliate links or sponsorships for products that they already use and trust, but every one of them is getting paid to teach what they already know. And this is all designed to be done in 4 hours a week or less. So try running paid ads to a consulting business on 4 hours a week and tell me how that goes. I'm not sure it's even possible, but the reason this is possible is because when you post these videos, every single one of them is like you hiring a little salesperson that's just gonna work for you for the next 10 or 20 years. They never call in sick. They don't require any extra money. They work 24/7. And their only job is to get you views, get you subscribers, and make you money. And it's not just 3 lucky people. Look at this. Cheryl sat under 50 subscribers for years. Then she joined our community, and now she's past 9,000, she's monetized, and she's finally making money from YouTube. Raggy, who's a veteran investor, posted on YouTube for years, barely got any traction, and then with us, she put 4 videos that got over 30,000 views in a single month, and she is absolutely crushing it on YouTube. Tracy is turning 15,000 view videos into real coaching revenue. Judd has gotten to over 500,000 subscribers, and he was able to quit corporate and make a full-time income because of YouTube. And Craig is one of the biggest realtors in Montana, and one of his first videos popped off and got over 100,000 views. So different niches, different backgrounds, but the same playbook. And again, I'm gonna reveal a step-by-step guide to get started as a beginner in this week's live training. Click that link in the description in the pinned comment below, and I'll also be giving away the Niche Validator AI, which will help you pick your niche, or if you already have a niche, it'll help you make the niche 10 times better. So check that out. Now, let's kill the objection that's been sitting in your chest this whole video, which is, I'm not technical. I can barely work my printer. Here's what the winners actually record on. Nurse Jen records on a plain webcam. That's the whole studio. Azul films himself on his phone walking around outside. My brother Zach bought a cheap used camera for a couple $100 and he films on that. Craig, the Montana realtor who had his video pop off and get over 100,000 views, filmed that video on his webcam. And I could just go on and on. And my favorite example in the history of this channel is the Pickle Pepsi guy, right? This is a channel called M&J Metal, and he posted over 400 videos. And he only had about 2,000 subscribers to show for it, and he really wasn't making any money. And everything on his channel was recorded with an absolute potato, right? Terrible video and terrible audio, no thumbnails, no strategy, no editing, no niche. He basically did everything you could possibly do wrong. And he did it for years, consistently. And then one dead simple video, how to make pickle Pepsi at home for free, took off anyways. Because on YouTube, production quality doesn't win, the right idea wins. Which means this game has one rule. You cannot lose if you refuse to quit it, right? In the game of YouTube, you only lose by quitting. So if a guy with an absolute potato for a camera and no plan can eventually hit and have a video that takes off, get over 9 million views, and make tens of thousands of dollars just from AdSense alone, what happens when somebody with 30 years of wisdom posts on purpose in a niche picked to require their age? Because the tech was never the barrier. And the little bit of tech that is left, that's literally what Claude is for. Which brings me to the best part of this entire video. Here's what starting a channel used to require: script writing, SEO, research, titles, thumbnails, editing, software, upload settings, basically a part-time job's worth of technical skills. And that right there is exactly why people over 50 stayed out of the game. But here's what it requires now. You open Claude and you talk to it. That's it. That's the workflow. I call it a yap session. You talk to Claude like it's a sharp friend who just asked about your career or whatever industry you're in or some sort of expertise that you have. The stories, the mistakes, the here's what nobody understands about my industry rants that you've been keeping in or maybe giving at dinner for 20 years. And if you don't know what to say, you flip it and you have Claude interview you. And here's the exact prompt. And there's a free light version, which I'll put in the description in the pinned comment below as well. It should be the third link down there. But here's the prompt. You can screenshot this, put it into Claude, and it'll help you. So an analogy here is the Kodak camera, right? Claude is like the Kodak camera. Before Kodak came out with their original camera, in order to take a picture, you had to basically go through like 10 years of training to get it right. Right? So the only people that could take pictures with the Kodak camera were highly technical people who knew how to operate the camera. But then Kodak came out with a camera that was much more accessible that anyone could use. And then it flipped from the only people able to take pictures were technical people. And then it flipped from the only people that were able to take pictures and actually make money with it were people that were highly technical, to the only people that were able to take pictures and make money with it were people who actually had something worth taking pictures of. And that's exactly what Claude has done for content creation. It used to be that the only people that were able to make content were people that were highly technical and could handle all the technical skills that you need to make content, aka mostly younger people. But now that content creation has become easy, in many cases because of tools like Claude, the people that are able to make a full-time living from content now are the ones that actually have something worth talking about. And a lot of those people are going to be on the older side because they have experience and wisdom, and they solved a lot of problems, and they can give value to other people by helping them solve their problems faster and easier. And if you're thinking, well, Shane, I don't have any experience, you definitely do. 100% you do. And all you have to do is ask yourself this one question. If you had a time machine and you could go back in time and tell the younger version of yourself what to do and what not to do, would you save yourself a massive amount of time, effort, money, and possibly emotional turmoil? If the answer is yes to that, then you can definitely give value to other people. And the answer is going to be yes for like 99% of you. All you have to do is 2 yap sessions. First of all, you're going to have a yap session with Claude, right? You yap, and then a few minutes later, it hands you a full script in your voice, your stories, your phrasing, organized so that people keep watching. This is exactly what my brother did. And it could also write your titles, your descriptions, your thumbnail text, etc. And it can even write the creative direction for a video editor, or drive the new AI editing tools so that the polish happens without you ever touching an editing timeline. And you want to know how long my brother spent on his first video script? Less than 15 minutes of talking, and that's what wrote the script, and then another 15 to 30 minutes to record the script. And that's it. So if you want to spend an hour going back and forth with Claude to make the script even better, you can, and it gets scary good. But the days of, I'm not a writer or I'm not technical enough are over. You bring the wisdom and Claude does the typing. So the 30 years of experience was the hard part and you already did it. So let's bring this home. You clicked on this video looking for the #1 Claude AI side hustle for people over 50. And now you know what it is. A personal brand on YouTube built on your wisdom. And it's the only side hustle where every card that you're holding gets stronger with age. Wisdom nobody can Google. Trust that nobody can fake. The wealthiest audience on the platform wanting to consume your content. And the supply and demand gap the size of a canyon. Now let me be straight with you, because this channel runs on receipts, not promises. This is simple, but it's not always easy. It's the slowest starter on any side hustle list. You might make nothing your first few months, and that's exactly where most people quit, especially if they try to do it on their own. But don't quit, because nothing else you could start compounds even close to this hard. There was once a 65-year-old man whose restaurant got bypassed by a new interstate, leaving him with a $105 Social Security check and a chicken recipe. And he spent what was supposed to be his retirement driving town to town, getting rejected over and over again, selling franchise rights to that recipe. And you've probably eaten the result, because that restaurant was called KFC or Kentucky Fried Chicken. And nobody tells that story like it's a sad one, because it isn't. Because the last third of your life is where the first 2/3 can finally start to pay out. Your 30 years of experience already did the hard part. Claude just made it liquid. So here's your move. Come to the free workshop this week. It costs nothing. And I'll teach you exactly how to get started step by step as a beginner. And I'll show you exactly how to pick your niche and give you an AI that helps you pick your niche or make your niche 10 times better if you already have one. And then you can ask me literally any question that you have live and I'll answer it. And that's going to be the first link in the description in the pinned comment below. And if you're watching this in the future, still click on that link, because it'll put you on the wait list to attend my next live training that I do. And for that small handful of people out there who want my team to personally work with you one-on-one, who want one-on-one mentorship, or you just want us to literally do the work for you. So typically we're talking busy professionals that have at least 10+ years of experience, and they want to get results as quickly as possible without having to put a bunch of time, effort, and money into it. Click the link in the description in the pinned comment below. It should be the second link down there, and you'll book a call with us. But only do it if you're very serious about growing and making money on YouTube. And there's only a few different types of people we typically work with because we're very selective about who we work with in that program. So again, busy professionals, like I said before, business owners who want to get a lot of views, good leads, and make more money by getting more clients from their channel, YouTubers that are getting a lot of views, but they want to do better with monetization and we can help them do that, YouTubers who are crushing it, but they want to crush it even harder, and then people who have large followings on other social media platforms, or they're experts, like they've written a book and they have an audience from that book, and they want to bring that audience over to YouTube because they know that YouTube is by far the best when it comes to actually making money. If that sounds like you, go ahead and book a call by clicking the second link in the description in the pinned comment below. But again, only do it if you're very serious about growing and making money on YouTube. We're only accepting about 3 to 5 people into our one-on-one mentorship right now. And if you want to learn exactly how we help my 50-year-old brother go from 0 to a full-time income in less than 1 month, then go ahead and click this video right here and it'll take you right there.